Hi, I'm Sam here at Rick Jones Pianos with a Kawai Baby Grand, pardon me, built in 1987 in Hamamatsu, Japan. It's a model GE-1, 5 foot 1 inches long, in this beautiful polished ebony finish, which my colleagues have done a beautiful job preparing. It wasn't perfect when it came in, but with these polyester finishes, we can buff them in our shop and make them look a lot better. And, well, if you look hard, you might find some minor imperfections. I don't see any, obviously, from this angle. The piano, in my opinion, looks like new. It's a really beautiful piece of contemporary furniture. And it's a really lovely piano. The model itself, GE, was meant to be, the GE series was a line of less expensive grand pianos that Kawai introduced in the mid-1980s. And as it happens, what they did, when they transitioned from the KG-1D to the KG-1E, which was their normal smallest baby grand in the KG series, which is just Kawai Grand series, they made the KG-1E 3 inches longer, so it was a 5 foot 4 inch, whereas the KG-1D was a 5 foot 1 inch. And they kind of turned the old KG-1D into this model, in my opinion. And the design on the inside is very similar. When I go to tune these pianos and I have to take special measurements for the different strings, the measurements turned out very close. And it was a sense of Kawai figuring, why get rid of an old design? It's good. It's just that they wanted to introduce a different model, larger than it, a larger baby grand, that would represent the smallest member of their normal line of pianos, which eventually became the RX-1 and now the GX-1. But for those who are more budget oriented or are tight on space, they kept this basic design of 5 foot 1 inch grand piano. And with good reason, in my opinion. It's a really well-rounded piano design that imparts an unexpectedly deep sound to whatever you play. Unexpectedly so, considering it's as small as it is. I didn't play the bass so much in the video, but I think we'll be impressed. Really powerful sound. So you have that big sound in reserve if you need to, according to whatever music that you're playing. But you also have a whole lot of control, of course, over really soft playing. It's a piano we've regulated, cleaned up. Just really turned out, just another example of, in my opinion, Kawai's excellence in engineering. Using their wisdom, making fine concert grand instruments 9 feet long, I think that has assisted them in getting the most musical capability out of a small piano. Something which other manufacturers who don't specialize in concert instruments have a much harder time with. So this particular piano, I think, has many of the musical characteristics you would expect from Kawai. A mellow, warm sound. Really no hint of harshness whatsoever in the tone. It's just a really smooth, warm sound. I'll call it a 4 on the scale from 1 to 10, from mellow to bright. It's definitely on the mellow side. And then the touch is, in my opinion, typically firm for a Kawai. Kawai Grands tend to have more resistance in the keys, just by the way they're designed and how we're supposed to regulate them. But the advantage there is that the keys, I think, bounce back to a ready position very quickly. And they remain in contact with your finger for longer, which that all sounds extremely specific, but it's all very important, subtle information that a pianist needs in order to play the piano well. That's all. It's feedback that allows the pianist to get the touch they want out of the piano. And that's a large part of what we mean by a piano being responsive. That being said, it's fair for me to rate the Touch a 6 on the scale from 1 to 10. It's a firmer 6 too. I might almost call it a 7, but it's not that firm. Very satisfying to play, I thought. Very responsive to soft playing. And then finally, the piano does have a middle pedal sostenuto, which you can press. It's like a selective version of the right pedal. If you press notes on the keyboard, then while still holding the notes down, press the middle pedal, it will engage only the dampers of the notes you pre-selected and leave all the other dampers alone. So it's like having the third hand holding down notes on the keyboard for you. So, just like you would find in a Steinway Grand, a lot of more economically made baby grands don't have a true sostenuto for the middle pedal. They'll have a bass sustain, which is, it's like a sostenuto if all the notes that you want to hold are in the bass and none of the notes you want to hold are in the treble. In my opinion, it's not nearly as useful or functional. But this is a true full sostenuto that works on all notes, on all dampers. So again, a feature that more premium pianos tend to have, and which you don't find nearly as often on little baby grands. But Kawai intended this to be really a capable piano for demanding pianists. Especially, I highly recommend this piano if you're a really serious pianist, like a student who's really getting into more advanced repertoire, and you have to have a grand piano, but you just don't have very much room in your home. This will give you the responsive feel and wide dynamic range, simulating the experience of playing a larger piano without being quite so large. So please stop by. You can play this piano along with anything else in their inventory. But if you can't make it, you can always give us a phone call or send us an email if you have any questions. Thanks.